Hello mga SKs at kapwa kabataan! You have reached this far, and what a better way to cap this learning journey with you than by identifying and discussing a few model SK projects amid the pandemic which may offer lessons to us as we continue our mandate as SKs or our duty as youth citizens in our communities. Ako po si Lay Adame mula sa Center for Youth Advocacy and Networking. In this short video, we will share two notable initiatives based on the results of a research by SIAN in 2020 and identify some takeaways, especially yung may kinalaman sa youth development at progressive governance. Game! First off, the Sukat Kaalaman Project by SK Maravilla in Nagcarlan, Laguna. Sukat Kaalaman is a small-scale education initiative that targeted a wide array of learners. Ayon kay SK Chairperson Phil Colin Rafol, nabuo raw ito noong hindi pa agad-agad makakapagbalik eskwela ang maraming estudyante sa gitna ng kasagsagan ng pandemya noong Hunyo 2020. And as experts worldwide also worried, there could be a serious learning crisis exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Hence, the Sukat Kaalaman came to life. Under this project, the SK officers produced learning modules across the 5 subjects: math, science, English, Filipino, and Araling Panlipunan. Due to resource limitations, SK Maravilla clustered the modules into 3 to cater to various grade levels at the same time. Kinder and grade 1 were considered one cluster, grades 2 and 3 another, and grades 4 to 6 as the third. They distributed the modules through blended approach. Those with good access to the internet were provided digital copies, and those without that privilege were given hard copies delivered to their houses or single pickup point nearby. Overall, according to the SK chairperson, almost 300 learners joined the project. And wait, there's more. Mayroon pa raw higit 100 na sumali rin mula sa ibang kalapit na barangay. Ang galing! But of course, it was not all good and perfect naman. SK chairperson Phil Colin also identified some challenges they faced when they were implementing Sukat Kaalaman. Perhaps the biggest of the hurdles was about raising the budget needed for it. While SK by virtue of the law has its own budget, SK Maravilla encountered setbacks in having their officers bonded, which is a prerequisite to setting up their own bank account and be allocated with their own funds through the barangay. Despite that, the SK head said that they were still able to push through with a supplemental budget apart from sourcing funds from the officers of the mayor and vice mayor in Nagcarlan. Diba? Resourceful! Most importantly, through the initiative, SK chairperson Phil Colin shared how those challenging moments turned into a wellspring of lessons on governance, from inclusive leadership to technical management in his own words. Hindi po rin ikaw ang namumuno, lahat ng naiisip mo ay tama. Itong proyektong ito po ay knowledge and skills development din sa amin. Learning by doing, ika nga nila. Ang husay ng SK Maravilla. And here's another initiative that caught our attention in SIAN when we were doing our 2020 study I mentioned. Second case in point, Project Bulilit by SK Punturin in Valenzuela City. It's a relief operation. Basically, the SK was able to raise funds through donations that grew exponentially through social media campaign. Nag-viral, in other words. And huge part of that, the donated funds was timely and accurately reported by SK Punturin, demonstrating transparency and accountability and governance and eliciting in the process greater community support and ownership in the project. Sabi nga ni SK Chairperson Philip Faustino, importante ito para malaman nila na maaari nilang pagkatiwalaan itong nagsiservisyo para suportahan pa nila tayo sa mga proyekto na atin pang gagawin. Apart from that, Project Bulilit also demonstrated another important aspect of what we could be viewed as progressive governance. Remember that it was conceptualized and implemented during the initial stages of COVID-19 pandemic in the country. Kasabayan niya ang maraming relief operations rolled out across Metro Manila. But what stood out from this Project Bulilit was its focus on children, that SK Punturin felt us among those receiving the least support at that time of dire need. In a sense, these youth leaders wore a #equity lens by scanning first the relief operations, environment, and identifying the gaps where they could contribute the most. Mahusay din tulad ng sukat kaalaman in a usually noisy, fast-moving, and crowded space to do good. Alam ninyo kasi sometimes more harm could be done if we are not careful enough. But with some room for pause and reflection, good could become even better. Dagdag nga ni SK Chair Philip, importante ang pagpaplano, pag-oobserba, pagiging kritikal sa bawat sitwasyon. Importante din na kilalanin natin ang limitasyon natin. Importante na makipag-coordinate. At iyon na nga, kung susumahin ang dalang aral ng Project Bulilit in terms of results, aba, edi for the record, it's not bulilit. So there, 2 notable initiatives by SK amid the worst public health emergency of this generation. We are sure that there's a lot more stories out there, similar with Sukat Kaalaman and Project Bulilit. If you want to share them with us, or you simply need to start a conversation about SK initiatives, send us a message at the Center for Youth Advocacy through the email shown in the screen. Muli, ako po si Lei Adame, ang Deputy Executive Director for Programs ng CN Pilipinas. Maraming salamat sa pagsama sa akin sa Pitstop na ito at sa pananatili sa ating SK Interactive Map hanggang sa kaduluduluhan. Mag-iingat po tayong lahat.